Horse and Rory fell in beside John as he left the shield hall. I should talk with Melisandre after I see the Queen, he thought. If she could see a raven in a storm, she can find Ramsay Snow for me. Then he heard the shouting, and a roar so loud it seemed to shake the wall. "That come from Harden's Tower, my lord," Horse reported. He might have said more, but the scream cut him off. "Val," was John's first thought. But that was no woman's scream. That is a man in mortal agony. He broke into a run. Horse and Rory raced after him. "Is it White's?" asked Rory. John wondered. Could his corpses have escaped their chains? The screaming had stopped by the time they came to Harden's Tower, but Wonweg Wondarwan was still roaring. The giant was dangling a bloody corpse by one leg, the same way Arya used to dangle her doll when she was small, swinging it like a morning star when menaced by vegetables. Arya never tore her doll to pieces, though. The dead man's sword arm was yards away, the snow beneath it turning red. "Let him go!" John shouted. "Won, let him go!" Won did not hear or did not understand. The giant was bleeding himself, with sword cuts on his belly and his arm. He swung the dead knight against the grey stone of the tower, again and again and again, until the man's head was red and pulpy as summer melon. The knight's cloak flapped in the cold air. Of white wool it had been, bordered in cloth of silver and patterned with blue stars. Blood and bone were flying everywhere. Men poured from the surrounding keeps and towers. Northmen, freemen, queensmen. "Form a line," Jon Snow commanded them. "Keep them back, everyone, but especially the Queen's men." The dead man was Sir Patrick of King's Mountain. His head was largely gone, but his heraldry was as distinctive as his face. Jon did not want to risk Sir Melagorn or Sir Bruss or any of the Queen's other knights trying to avenge him. Wonweg Wondarwan howled again, and gave Sir Patrick's other arm a twist and pull. It tore loose from his shoulder with a spray of bright red blood. "Like a child pulling petals off a daisy," thought Jon. "Let us talk to him, calm him. The old tongue, he understands the old tongue. Keep back, the rest of you. Put away your steel. We're scaring him." Couldn't they see the giant had been cut? Jon had to put an end to this, or more men would die. They had no idea of Won's strength. "A horn, I need a horn." He saw the glint of steel, turned toward it. "No blades!" he screamed. "Wick, put that knife—" "Away," he meant to say. When Wick Whittlestick slashed at his throat, the word turned into a grunt. Jon twisted from the knife, just enough so it barely grazed his skin. "He cut me." When he put his hand to the side of his neck, blood welled between his fingers. "Why?" "For the watch!" Wick slashed at him again. This time Jon caught his wrist and bent his arm back until he dropped the dagger. The gangling steward backed away, his hands upraised as if to say, "Not me, it was not me." Men were screaming. Jon reached for Longclaw, but his fingers had grown stiff and clumsy. Somehow he could not seem to get the sword free of its scabbard. Then Bowen Marsh stood there before him, tears running down his cheeks. "For the watch!" He punched Jon in the belly. When he pulled his hand away, the dagger stayed where he had buried it. Jon fell to his knees. He found the dagger's hilt and wrenched it free. In the cold night air, the wound was smoking. "Ghost," he whispered. Pain washed over him. "Stick them with a pointy end." When the third dagger took him between the shoulder blades, he gave a grunt and fell face first into the snow. He never felt the fourth knife, only the cold.